I'm Dr. Delrose. We're going to get started here
Okay.
in just a second.
Dr. Dan?
Yeah. I don't know if everyone took advantage of the complimentary scan before you came in. You did?
Yeah. We're the support team.
Oh, for her? Okay, I'll support you too, Jan. Anyone who wears orange, that's my color, orange and blue.
All right, good.
I'm not an Illinois fan either. I have to. Hang on. My tech support, they're falling down. Gotta call the media real fast. There we go.
The imaging that they just took,
Mhm.
that shows your bone structure or something?
It's a 3D image, it's a CAT scan. And we do that because we're going to talk a little bit about why we do that, but it's just that we want to try and help you be your own advocate. We want to try and help you make the right decision that's best for you. Okay? This is going to be an implant seminar, but it really isn't. It's more of a seminar about you and what you guys want. All right? Our office is North River Dental. We have a guest here with us tonight, a dentist from Northport, and he's from the Boston area. Dr. Steinberg, our founder, and president and owner and CEO. Grand Fumage, he's also from the Boston area. The reason I'm bringing that up now is to bring it up towards the end, but we also associate with a company called Highbridge, and what that was, or what that is a group of dentists up in Rochester, New York. And me and Dr. Steinberg flew up there in February and in September and a few other times when it was cold and no one wanted to go to Rochester, and took these classes. And what Highbridge is, really quickly, we'll discuss it a lot more in detail, isn't anything different or new. It's just a protocol on how to give someone what they want, somewhat inexpensive, and something that's going to be long-term value here. This is North River Dental. It consists of 4 dentists, Dr. Steinberg, Dr. Raj, Dr. Waters, and myself, Dr. Delrose. Normally, we like to try and keep our patients here. We don't refer patients out. Between the 4 of us, we all have our little areas that we enjoy doing in dentistry, so we try and keep everyone here. In fact, that's the reason Dr. Steinberg came up with the name North of the River. When he first started here, every time he went to refer a patient to a specialist, they would say, "Oh, you're north of the river," like it was like yucky people. But now that's all changed. Now that's all changed. And this is Dr. Steinberg. He's got lots of initials after his name. We don't have AARP in there either. We need to put that in there somewhere.
I'm not doing that.
I've always been with care of my teeth. In my late 20s, I started having to go in for scalings and a lot more cleanings because I found out I had periodontal disease. And my dentists were awesome. They took care of me, helped me get through. They want to maintain my teeth and the teeth that I had in my mouth. So for years and years, I would go to the dentist at least 4 times a year to maintain my teeth that I have. And later in my 30s, I started having very much mobility to my teeth. And then I started losing them gradually. By the time I lost three teeth, I had to find a solution. So my dentist recommended that I go down and visit to see about Highbridge. And I did go in for one of their seminars, and it was wonderful. The information that came back, I was really excited when I left. Went home and told my family about it. My husband was right on board and said, "Who's more important but you and your health?" And happiness and a smile means a lot to me because I smile a lot. So I decided to move forward, met with everybody in the office. They were wonderful, walked me through step by step, went through the process, and the end results were just wonderful. I walked away with a beautiful smile. And I'm happy today, and it's 1 year later. So I would definitely recommend Highbridge for anyone who needs a solution to their health and the care of their teeth. Absolutely.
That's about 4 or 5 years old. What she said at the end is a solution that fits you. Okay? And that's mostly what we're going to be talking about tonight. going to teach you how to place implants or do bone grafts or sinus lifts or anything like that. We're going to talk about what you want, what's best for you. You know, we're not going to put something off the shelf and give it to you. This is our vision statement. It's up here. We meet every morning as a team. We review our vision statement. North River Dental Team will use our unprecedented technology, talents, and compassion to transform our patients into who they are meant to be so they can live the lives they deserve to live because you are worth it. It has nothing to do with dental care, because that's not our mission. Our mission is to make you happy. Dr. Steinberg's lived in the community for 35 years. I've lived in the community now 20 years. I used to say 19, but now it's 20 years. And we want to make you happy no matter what it is. Even the scan you give in, we're going to try and sit down. It takes about 20 minutes for me and Dr. Steinberg to look over it. We're probably going to try and get you back so we can sit down together and look over it together and give you what we think needs to be done. A gentleman came to our practice about 3 years ago. His name is Alex, very nice gentleman. He was in his early 40s when he first came here to see us. He has 5 kids, very successful local businessman in Sarasota. His issue is genetically, he's got bad teeth, gum disease. He's done everything that he needed to do. He's done gum surgeries, he's done the deep scalings and the deep scrapings and all that other yucky stuff and everything like that. And finally his dentist says, you need a denture. And he didn't like the idea of having a denture. So what we did for him is we placed some implants on the top and we gave him a fixed bridge, teeth that don't come in and out. And now on the bottom was in pretty good shape, healthy, not a lot of things. He was missing a tooth down here, so we gave him one more tooth here. Okay? So that's all he wanted. He wanted to have a nice, healthy smile because he was in the community. And he wanted to be presentable. And plus he has 5 kids too. His wife's the same. This is Otis. She is. This is Otis. Really unique gentleman. He married a young lady from Palmetto about 40 some odd years ago. They moved to Miami and he was a police officer in Miami. He lost his 2 front teeth playing football. And they gave him something called a partial. It's wires that go around the teeth. It comes in and out. Okay? And what's happened is over time he's lost more teeth that shifted because of this partial that came in and out. And you can see they go up and down and all over the place. In his instance, all he wanted to do was eat a steak. So what we did with him is we did about the same thing. We placed about 6 implants in the top and we put a screw retained bridge, something that doesn't come in or out. The day we put this in was the day he went out and had steak. He was so happy that later on we did do some porcelain coverings over the top of his bottom teeth. This is a unique gentleman. He was born with something called a cleft palate. Okay? And he was born in the time before they really repaired it. And you can see he's got a lot of asymmetry on his face. You see how it's over here like this. He was happy with it. Okay? Now the first 2 gentlemen I showed you, one who wanted to have a nice smile, be in the community, the other one who just wanted to be able to eat steak again in his retirement, and they moved back up here to Palmetto from Miami. This gentleman didn't care. What he wanted was to make his wife happy, which I don't understand that at all, being married for only 25 years. So, very, very difficult case, but what we did was we gave him some teeth on the top and teeth on the bottom that don't come in or out anymore. Another unique gentleman, always took very good care of his smile and everything. About 10 years ago, we did a crown down here for him. He ended up getting cancer, and he's got a little video he's going to play in just a second where he came in about a year after we had done the treatment on him. And he had horrible cancer, and this is what happened from the chemotherapy and the radiation and everything. Before he got the cancer, he had just gotten remarried again, had a young boy, so he wanted to be able to do things for his son and everything. He's been so happy that what he does now is he volunteers at the Children's Hospital. Him and a couple other cancer survivors dress up as superheroes, and they go and visit the kids. And that's one thing he had just told me when he was here for one of his cleanings, that he would never have thought of doing that before, after he had all his chemotherapy and everything. I'll let him tell you the story here.
I was diagnosed with stage 4 squamous cell cancer, and it was my lymph nodes. They cut out a third of my tongue, and at that point they said, "Oh, we got it." At first it wasn't stage 4; it was just on the tongue. It was a tumor on the tongue. They cut out a third of the tongue, no problem. They got it all. I went through PET scans. I was clear. There's a hole all around. Everyone put dentures in, but they didn't want to investigate any further in my mouth. They just said, "We'll pull out a couple teeth that are still in there, and we'll throw dentures in." I think there's more problems with this. So I called Dr. Develos, and he said, "Well, you need to come down and see me. It sounds like you got a lot of problems." So I said, "All right." So I came down, he did a scan, he found out I had 26 infections up in my gums, and in the jaw. I always kind of, I'm always a fairly happy person, but I didn't really smile. Yeah, I smirked a lot. I mean, you can see it in a lot of the old pictures. It's like, I smirk. I don't smile, I smirk. And if you go back, before the cancer, I was always laughing, I always had my mouth open and things like that. And of course, you know, and then afterwards, yeah, I didn't. So. But I'm thinking, I'm in for a nightmare. I'm thinking this is going to be a nightmare procedure I have to go through. Wasn't really overly thrilled, but I knew I had to get it done. And I'm actually surprised because what he did and how they did it, you guys did and all that, I didn't really understand this stuff the whole time I was going through the procedure. Got back to eating, like, I love cashews, so I've been eating cashews. I chew gum. I haven't chewed gum in forever. And steak, actually, without cutting it into like little mini strips, just cut meat. I love grape nuts, and I've been able to eat grape nuts again, which I haven't had that in forever. So, and I mean, for so long I was eating everything so soft. Everything was super soft, and now I can eat vegetables again. I don't have to have them steamed to nothing. I can actually eat them raw, like celery and carrots. But I love raw carrots and celery, and broccoli and stuff like that. So it's like having my real teeth back. And I forgot what I eat and won't go out and all that stuff. So that's been really nice. I mean, we actually went to a few things for a change, and we got invited to these little gala things, and it's like I can go, well, how can I keep pick up stuff needed? I don't have to go sit in the corner and try to, and it's been great. So it's like having my real teeth back.
This is one of our patients. I guess she does a TV show now or something. I show this picture because, what Doug was saying was that he's able to enjoy his life again, and he couldn't do that when he didn't have any teeth. And I always tell the story, I had wonderful grandparents. They raised an incredibly good-looking grandson. And they didn't have teeth. They had dentures. And they were successful, okay? But when we have teeth give us that confidence that we need. We're able to socialize. It lets us enjoy our lives. Alright. So we want you to live the life you want to live, not the life your teeth are telling you to live. Like Doug said, he would sit in the corner because he was afraid to go eat. I've had patients who tell me that they open up a menu and they see what they can eat with their dentures or with their bad teeth, not what they want to eat. So that's what our goal is and our vision here is. We want to be able to help you do that. One of the tools that we use is Highbridge. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, there's nothing different or new with Highbridge, because we used to do all on floor, we used to do teeth in a day and things like that. It's just a protocol. It's a way that we know we're extremely successful by using the technology that we have here, which a lot of dentists don't have. We like the Highbridge because it is cost effective, so it's cheaper for us, so we can make it cheaper for our patients. And it is the final restoration too. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Great prognosis with it. When we started, or when we finished our training a few years back, there were only 25 doctors in the network. Now there's about 47. Okay? We don't have any kind of franchise fee, or we don't pay anything like that. We're just all friends. We meet once a year. This year we're going to meet in Orlando. We get together, we talk about our patients, how we can improve it and stuff like that. But all it is a bunch of professionals getting together, trying to improve our community and our lives of our community by trying to give them the dentistry that they deserve and that they want. Now, like I said, my grandparents had dentures, but like I said, there was a diet limitation. They couldn't bite into an apple. If you have an upper and lower denture, it's very difficult to eat lettuce, and you definitely can't eat a chewy bagel. Okay. One of our Highbridge patients, when she was a younger lady, she was kicked in the face by a horse, and she lost her teeth, and she's like my good friend Otis, the ex-cop from Miami. She wore these partials for years, and you can see that they had to be crowned, the teeth, and the teeth are starting to get decayed, and she's having a lot of issues. She started losing back teeth and things like that. So she was a young girl, and she wanted to be able to go out and enjoy herself again. So that's what we did. We were able to put about 6 implants on the top and 5 on the bottom, and what she has here does not come in or out. She has to brush and floss these just like her own teeth, which is wonderful. So let's start all the way from the beginning here. What is an implant? The medical colleagues have really taken the research that us dentists have done. About 50 years ago or so, a dentist decided to sew a piece of titanium into one of his students' arms to see what happens. He was a researcher in Sweden, and literally the tissue grew in the titanium. okay? So that was really amazing. So because of dentists finding out that the human body can grow into titanium, we have our artificial hips, our artificial joints, and things like that, okay? And even some of the porcelains that we've researched over the years help make those joints run smoother. So our medical colleagues have taken advantage of what we've done in dentistry. When something grows into a piece of non-man or man-made stuff, not God-made stuff, it's called osteointegration. So sometimes you'll see that on the internet or hear people talk about osteointegration. All it is the bone growing into the implant. Okay, and implants have an incredible success rate. I need to change that slide because I think it's changed a little bit, but about 95%. That means if I put 100 implants in the next 10 years, only 5 will come out. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between an implant and a tooth. I did steal this off the internet, but I did add a little red line around here. I'm going to tell you why. Because I take a lot of teeth out here. And the reason I'm able to take teeth out is teeth do not grow out of the bone. They grow out of your gums. That's why your hygienist, who should be coaching you and not lecturing you, our hygienists here try and coach our patients. We don't try and lecture. Because like I said, showed Alex, he's done everything right his entire life. And at 42 years old, 43 years old, he was losing all his top teeth. So sometimes we try and coach people so they can keep their teeth a little bit longer. But the reason we're able to pull teeth out is because teeth grow out of the gums. They don't grow out of the bones. What gums are little strings that hold the teeth to the bone. So when the hygienist is sticking that probe in there measuring that space, she's measuring how much space is there. The more space that's there, the less strings holding the teeth to the bone. More likely to get gum disease and abscesses, okay? So the way, the way I'm able to pull a tooth is I go in here and I literally cut all these little strings and I'm able to pull the tooth out. The difference between a tooth and an implant is bone literally grows into that implant, and that is incredibly stable. And that's why implants have such a success rate. This is just a little comparison. When people think of implants, they think of a tooth that's screwed into the bone, but really an implant is something that's placed under the bone, okay? It represents the root. And then what we do is we have to connect the implant from the bone to the mouth. That's called an abutment. That's this little gold collar here that I represented. And then on top of this gold collar, we can do a lot of different things. We can put crowns, bridges, and high bridges on there, okay? So this is the latest, and that's why I said I'd change that one slide. There's about a 97% success rate. You know what's so cool about this? Let's say you're in that 3% and that implant fails. We just come back in, no damage is done, we just put a new implant in. Now you have another 97% chance of being successful. So that's why implants are such a success for people. And that's why they work so well. And that's why they work for people like Doug, who had a disease that he got, okay, cancer, and it helped destroy his teeth. Sometimes people get kicked in the face, you know, and they need to replace their teeth. You know, you really don't have to replace your teeth, but when we do have teeth, we know we have normal contour, we're able to go out in public, we're able to eat and chew what we want to do, we're able to play with our grandkids and things like that without having to worry about our teeth falling out or looking older or anything like that. So let's talk about an implant. If you're missing one tooth, we can put one implant in, and then this is that little gold thing that we call an abutment. It connects the implant to the mouth, and then we can put a single crown on it. So this is a back tooth that we've done recently, and this is what the implant looks like on an x-ray, and this is the abutment, this is the crown that we put on top of it. Now, something like that in our office for a single tooth is about $4,000, so it's a lot of money, okay? So let's say you're missing 4 teeth. So if you're missing 4 teeth, if we did 4 implants, 4 crowns and 4 abutments, you're looking at 4 times 4,000, $16,000. That's a lot of money. So what we do as dentists sometimes is do something called bridges. And we've been doing bridges for 150 years, meaning we use one pilon as a tooth, another pilon as a tooth, and we have a span, just like the Sunshine Skyway, 2 pilings and a span. That's a bridge. So sort of the same idea here. We have one implant here, which are the pilings, and then we have 2 teeth, which are the spans. We have our abutments. So on top of these 2 implants and these 2 abutments, we're putting 4 teeth. Something like that in our office only costs about $10,000, which is a little bit less expensive than doing 4 individual teeth. And this is a patient, and believe it or not, who lost 5 teeth. And we're able to, this is what it looks like when it's healing. Of course, they have temporaries on, you usually don't see that. But this is the final result here, okay? And you can see that the pink up here around the teeth is a little bit different because that's porcelain, okay? We're trying to replace the gums that are missing, okay? So we're talking about losing teeth and replacing them with implants, and like I said, my grandparents didn't have any, they had dentures and they lived happy, well, they didn't live happy lives, but they lived long lives. But what happens when you lose teeth? So if you look at this picture, this lady, her nose is about the same size in each picture, okay? But it looks like it's getting bigger. Why? Because as she lost teeth, the bones start dissolving away. Why do bones dissolve away? Well, remember, teeth grow out of gums, and the gums are connected to the bone. So if you don't have any teeth pulling on the gums, you're not stimulating the bone, and it withers away. We hear something called atrophy. Okay? We know people who are in wheelchairs, they try and exercise those muscles because they don't want the atrophy away. The same thing happens. So as you lose teeth, you lose gums, and as you lose the gums, you lose the bone behind it. This time of year, in dental land, this is called a witch's chin, okay? And I love it because it's October and we're Thanksgiving, or Halloween and everything. And all it is that as she's losing bone and losing teeth, her chin starts moving up higher and higher and higher, so it looks like it's pointed, like the old witch's silhouette, okay? Crappy picture. This is a flat x-ray. It's not like a CAT scan we talked about when you first came in. I had this on here because it's pretty dramatic. These are the person's last 5 teeth that they have on here, and this is the bite, the plane. Okay, where all if they had teeth all the way across, you can see how much bone has dissolved away over time. Okay, so the reason I show you these pictures is that when we replace teeth, we also have to replace gums. If you remember the gentleman who lost his 5 teeth, we did 2 implants. I showed you the pink porcelain because when he lost those teeth and they were pulled. I think he was in a car accident, if I remember right. He lost the bone around there. So even when we have dentures, people who have no teeth, we just don't put teeth in their mouth. We have to put pink in there. We have to replace the gums besides replacing the teeth. That's very important. Like I said, if you wear dentures, you're not alone. We have a lot of patients who wear dentures, like this guy right here. You can see how much bone loss he's had over time. One of our solutions for people who have bad teeth, like the first video we showed you was a lady who's had a lot of dental work done. We had a patient about 3 years ago in one of these seminars, and right about here he stood up, and that's why we've changed it around our seminar. He goes, you know what, over the last 20 years, I've put 2 Corvettes in my mouth. He goes, I put at least $60,000 twice in my mouth over 20 years. And that's not bad. He's tried very hard to save teeth, but sometimes people are born with bad teeth or bad gums, and sometimes it's 4th down and long and you have to punt. I'm sorry, I have to use a football analogy. I hope you guys are football fans. But, so if you lost, let's say, 12 teeth on the top, and you didn't want a denture, you wanted something fixed, something that didn't come out at night, 12 implants at $4,000 each is about $48,000 just for one job. And me and Dr. Steinberg, we did that for years, and we had a lot of very good friends of ours and patients for years who just couldn't afford it and they ended up with a denture. And that's what sort of pushed us towards Highbridge. Highbridge is a way of using that bridge technology that we talked a little bit before about, and lowering the cost. We don't have to use 12 implants, maybe only 6, then we lower the cost some more. We don't have to put 12 crowns in there and put a fixed bridge all across, we lower the cost. And that's what we like about Highbridge. Video time. Maybe not. Maybe if I can turn on the volume.
It was failing. And so I knew that I was going to have to have something done. And it looked like I was going to have to go through that all over again. And it was just unconscionable to go through all that again from every angle. And it definitely everything pointed to having the Highbridge done. Because then everything was final. There was no more pain, no more sensitivity. I wanted to be done, like completely done, not ever have to revisit this nightmare again that was in my mouth. And so with the Highbridge, I'm done. And I don't have any pain, and I don't have any concern about whether this will fail. I'm just happy.
When I was 16 in high school, I lost my 4 front teeth playing baseball. And I went all through my life with a partial. And as I went through the years, the rest of my teeth became to loosen, and I had 2 partials upper and lower. I was just miserable, and we had to do something. I couldn't even go to a restaurant. I'd have to go in the men's room, take my parcels out, rinse them off in the sink every time we were done eating, because food was all over the place in my mouth. It was unbelievable. It was very uncomfortable. So I searched for an answer for a more comfortable way to live. I was uncomfortable. It affected my attitude, my whole being. And I found Highbridge, and Highbridge was my answer. They're fantastic. I love them, and so I kept my natural teeth again.
It started with me. I was having trouble eating all the foods I enjoyed before. I could no longer eat. My teeth were sensitive. Feeling a very social person. I was having a hard time and difficulty smiling because of my appearance. I no longer laughed out loud. I didn't have big smiles anymore. I came across Highbridge. It looked to me like a cost-effective solution to my problem, and now it's changed the way I eat, smile, and enjoy, and laugh out loud.
I remember my mother suffering with her ill-fitting dentures her whole life, and the pain that it brought to her, and how it affected her health, and the suffering that she had to go through, not being able to chew or to swallow correctly. And I decided, after going through some of the similar things that my mother went through, that I wouldn't go through the same things that she went through. And I looked online and found Highbridge, and it was a great experience from the very start. The people there were friendly and kind and courteous and understanding, and I felt like they had my best interest at heart, and I loved them.
I was involved in a serious accident at work, and my teeth suffered greatly due to my injury. My teeth became ugly, and I have a 7-year-old son, and he looked at me one day and he said, "Dad, your mouth is bad." And at that point I knew that I had to do something. I couldn't hide it anymore. I couldn't remove myself from social situations because the person I loved the most in the world looked at me with disdain because of my oral health. I investigated all the options available to me. I found Highbridge, and when I did, everything that the Highbridge system offered me, I went ahead with it, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't have to hide my smile anymore. As a matter of fact, I look for opportunities to smile, to show off the teeth that Highbridge gave me and saved my life.
Alright. But, you know, we've had, like I said, we've had people who put a lot of money in their mouth, and sometimes you've done it, and it just isn't worth doing it. And for years, both me and Dr. Steinberg, we have patients who try and save teeth and do this, and it's just bad genetics. You know, it's nothing that they're doing wrong. They're not bad people. They're here every 6 months. I think of one lady years ago when we first started this. She would come in every 3 months for her cleaning, and we'd always find something going bad on her. Her husband would come in once every 5 years, and she would beg me to find something, and he'd never find it. It's just genetics, not bad people or anything like that. We've had people come to the Highbridge seminars too, who were told they needed dentures, and after looking through the cursory exam and everything, we had one gentleman, and he just needed a little bit of gum work done, and he's been a patient now for 3 or 4 years. If he wouldn't have came here, he'd be in dentures right now. So I always tell people they have to be their own advocate. And the one story I like to tell is my grandparents, because when I was young, I'm from Florida, and they pretty much raised me. And my grandmother, as she got older, she always had heart issues. And a little Irish lady, and we'd go to the doctors together because I knew I wanted to be a doctor one day. And the doctor would go, "We're going to do this and this and this and this." And she'd go, okay, smile. And when she'd walk, I said, "Grandma, what's going on?" And she goes, "I don't need it. He's a doctor. We'll do what he says." And that's just wonderful. She has so much faith in her doctor. And I have patients who have faith in me, and I know Dr. Steinberg has patients that have faith in him, and that's great. But sometimes you got to ask questions, and that's what this seminar is a little bit about too. When we get you back, we'll be able to tell you what we think, and you can ask us questions and things like that. Is Highbridge something that are implants? Are they something that once you get them in, you don't have to worry about anything again? No. We still eat, we chew, we have bacteria in our mouth. We still have to brush our implants. We still have to brush even our dentures if we have dentures and keep them clean. With Highbridge, you have to floss too. Okay. Doug doesn't live in this area. He lives up in Newport Richey, And, no, he lives in Clearwater. And the first year we ask if you do hybrid in our office, that you do your cleanings here just for the first year so we can monitor, make sure everything's okay and everything like that. So you have to see what's right for you. We're going to see you in just one frame of time, okay? But you know what you want and what your goals are. We always ask our patients, you know, if you looked in the mirror, what do you want to see a year from now, okay? Otis wanted to be able to eat steak a year from now. Doug just wanted to be able to play with his son, who's I think he's 16 or 17 now, you know. And the young lady who was hit in the mouth, she wanted to be out and be sociable. She never thought she could be sociable with a partial that came in and out. So you tell us what you want to be, and we'll help you get there. Okay? There's a lot of different things that get in there. Like I said, that one gentleman, he was told he needed dentures. He just needed some gum work done, and that's something we were able to do here for him. So you have to decide what's right for you. Let's talk about the cost of hybrid. We have another question we always ask our patients: have you thought about a budget for something like this? And I'm very proud of our fees. Like I said, if we were doing one jaw or one arch, it'd be about $50,000, and we can do it now anywhere between $16,000 to about $22,000. Okay, and the unique thing about hybrid, and like I said, we've done all on 4, we've done teeth in an hour, and teeth while you wait, and all those little other gimmicks that you see on TV. The nice thing about hybrid is that number you see there is your final number. Okay, we don't screw a temporary denture in and you come back 4 to 6 months later and we charge you for a fixed bridge. That is the final fee. Okay, anything that you get done at the office. In fact, this afternoon we had a patient who about 4 or 5 years old, young guy, 32 years old, had a root canal in another dentist's office. Well, that dentist never told him once you have a root canal, you need a bit of Post-it and a crown in it. Well, once he found that out, he couldn't afford it. So he didn't do anything. So he spent $1,000 on a root canal. 3 years later, I'm pulling the tooth out because it's reinfected again and we can't do nothing about it. Okay? So we like to tell everyone their total cost up front. Okay? So that would be anywhere, depending on what we would have to do, that would be your total cost for a fixed bridge. Okay? We're committed to helping you do whatever you need to do. We have lots of different tools to help you out. Shannon, who's sitting back there, she's our financial expert. She can help you. If it's something you want to get done, we can make sure it gets done for you. Okay. Like I said, have you ladies had a scan or anything?
No.
No? Anyway, my wife says I'm a cheap bastard. I says, no, I'm frugal. It takes me and Dr. Steinberg about 20 minutes to look at the scan. We'd like to have you back and sit down with you and also look at the scan. I know he's been looking at a couple of them too. The CAT scan's a wonderful thing. We've had one here since 2006. It gives us a 3-dimensional image of the jaw, so I know exactly where to put the implant, and that's some of the technology that we have. We can place an implant within about 1/10 of a millimeter from where we have it planned. We have surgery guides and something called XNAV. It's like a GPS. It guides the drill right where it's supposed to go in the bone. So we have all these technologies, and because of that, we're able to do this type of protocol. But sometimes, because the machine moves ever so slightly, we don't see cavities and decay, and sometimes we're able to save teeth. Okay? And I always tell people, you go to a butcher, he's going to sell you a steak. You go to a baker, he's going to sell you a cupcake. My job here is pulling teeth and placing implants, so that's what I'm going to sell you. So we want to make sure that we do what's best for you. Okay, so if you do have some teeth, we may also, when you come back, take some x-rays. And there's no charge or fee for anything like that. We've been in the community long enough that we have a lot of patients who love us. We have people who come to the seminar and decide they weren't going to do any treatment, and that's fine. We just want to give you the best advice we can for you. You have to decide what's next for you. No one else can make the decision. Okay? Like I said, we'd like to try and get you back on the schedule so we can review the scan that we took. If we need to take extra x-rays, we'll do that at that time. But you have to decide what's best for you. What do you want a year from now? When you look in the mirror, what do you want to see? I know I'd like to see myself 60 pounds later. That ain't going to happen.
All right.
I like to eat. I don't even look at the menu. I just start ordering. Are there any questions? Yes.
Okay, you said you can do the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had the bridges break?
No. They're chromium cobalt alloy, or we make them out of zirconia. Extremely strong. Strong, strong, strong. Yeah. The nice thing about it is that it is most of the time repairable in the mouth. So We have had patients who've chipped a tooth, they've eaten, you know, you really want to eat that frozen Snickers bar to break a tooth, but hey, what the hell, life is short. If that's what you want to do, you know, and it can be fixed usually in the mouth. Dr. Steinberg had one of our first hybrid patients about 2 or 3 years after we did the hybrid on her. Her granddaughter says, "Grandma, your teeth are so yellow." So she came in and we were able to unscrew it, and a week later screwing brand new teeth on there that were refrigerator white. So she doesn't let that granddaughter tell her anything.
Why did it turn yellow?
Who does the color we picked? So she,
Oh, so she just wanted to have a lighter, okay.
They matched the teeth is what he said
Yes.
at the beginning.
Yes, they did. Hey, that's okay. We have people who like gold teeth up front. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever you like, we're here for you. You know, you have to decide what you want, and you talk to us, and we'll make sure it happens.
You floss in between when they're a bridge?
You floss underneath it, like you would any other bridge.
Stick it.
Yeah, floss shredders and stuff. Yeah. That's why we like to have you here for about a year after we do something like this, so the hygienist making sure you're able to do that. Doug, he hates flossing. He buys a water pick.
Oh.
He bought a water pick. So.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's what she said.
Yeah.
I love my water.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of getting one of these
Huh?
up in Michigan.
Oh my God, come down here.
She has a cousin who's a dentist.
I know a guy that fell off the
It's
truck.
a family raid. Well, but, I mean, I just, the crown fell out, and he says, "I think I can save it." The next thing I know, he says, "You know, you're getting an implant." And I went, you know, so, but it's gonna be the one tooth. So, I guess my thing is, how does this differ from what, like a normal implant? Is it just how the teeth?
The hybrid is normal implants. We use the best implants that are out there in the world, BioHorizon implants. Everything we use here is the best. Even if you decide that you don't want implants, that you want a denture, the denture teeth we use, the acrylic we use is always the best in our practice. And the only difference between hybrid and any other, the all on four screw retain things, is that we give you the final price up front, and we have a specific protocol we have to follow, meaning that there's certain appointments that you have to be here for, and we talk about that once you decide you're a candidate for hybrid. A single tooth implant takes anywhere between 4 to 6 months for the bone to grow into osteointegrate, so you won't have anything for 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
because right now, he had to put a bone graft in, and so we're letting that grow before I go back.
Anyway. We like doing the bone graft all at the same time.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah. Well, see, we're in Florida.
Yeah.
That's Michigan.
Yeah, right.
We're afraid our patients are going to expire, so we try to get as much done as possible. But the thing about hybrid is that when we put the implants in, anywhere between 2 to 3 days after we put the implants in, we screw a temporary bridge in, and at that time we start working on our cosmetics and aesthetics and everything like that. And anywhere between 10 to 11 weeks, from the time we put the implants in, you're done. But with a single tooth implant, you can't do that. You have to let it heal. And that's not unusual. Most dentists will go ahead and do a bone graft first, and then 4 to 6 months later do the implant. But now you have to wait a year. Because of our technology and our CAT scan machine here, I'm able to measure how much bone I need and where the implant's going to go. So I'm able to do it all at one time, so it's just one 4-month healing process.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm gonna have one implant.
Okay.
If down the line, like, something else happens, like the tooth next to it or something, or, 3 or 4, could you do this, like, using that original implant to build, like?
You can do that. You could cantilever a tooth
Good,
off.
good, I like that word. Okay,
Cantilever.
cantilever.
Yes, you could.
Okay.
So if you lost a tooth in front of it or behind it, you could just use that implant. They would cut the crown off or unscrew the crown off the abutment and just screw 2 in. That is a possibility.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
See, I should have come here, but.
You should. We have more fun here.
Well, but I didn't have a choice. It fell out, Johnny did it.
Hey,
Johnny knew not to get me out of the chair.
question, sir?
Yes, there's some other companies that seem to be getting into the business. Clear Smile.
Right.
Okay. And you're the first people I've come to.
Okay.
Why should I, in your estimation, not be bothered to anybody else?
We have a beautiful staff.
I already noticed that.
Well, like I said, Clear Choice is a nice company. We are a private office. We're owned by ourselves, we own the practice here, we're responsible to ourselves, not to stockholders. So that's one of the benefits. We give you the fees all up front for the final prosthesis. Okay. We do everything in-house, we don't have to worry about sending things out in most cases. In some cases, we do have to send out and have sometimes when there's no bone at all, we just send out to a specialist, but that's in rare cases.
Smile.
Smile, yeah.
Thank you.
Me. We do damn good work. And like I said, we have a reputation. Like I said, we're part of that, and it just wasn't how we do business here, you know. And everything isn't a cookie cutter. We don't want to give one solution to everybody. There's a lot of different solutions out there. We want to give the patient the best solution for that patient, not what's right here on the shelf I'm going to sell you. And that's the way we work. It's a little bit different. And like I will tell you the truth, when we've been doing these seminars for going on 4 years now, and probably 2 out of every 100 people that we see in the seminars are really a true candidate, where their teeth are either so bad that we have to pull them all, like Doug, where we have to pull 28 teeth, or they have dentures and they just can't tolerate the dentures when we have to do it. It's not too common of an occurrence. But, you know, we're here to help you. And like I said, we'll look at your scan. If we see things that need to be done, we'll recommend it. And if you don't like our recommendation, that's fine. Hopefully we'll be part as friends. If you like our recommendation, we'll make sure we give you the best. We'll give you what you want.
Thank you.
Can I get a scan?
No, you already said no. Sorry. I am so sorry. Hell yeah. Dr. Steinberg pays us by the hour. We'll stay here all night.
That's why the girls are all scared, huh?
All right. Well, talk to these young ladies. This is Tammy, who's sitting down. I think most of you talked to Bonnie. She's our new patient coordinator. That's Bobby Jo. She's our clinical supervisor. Shannon's behind you. If you have any issues, she can figure out the way of getting things done for you. She has lots of financial tools, so we have ways of getting what you want.
Do you work with insurance?
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah, we do anything we have to. You know, dental insurance isn't like medical insurance. Medical insurance is helpful for catastrophic things. Dental insurance is like having a coupon, and we will use that coupon up. Because remember, I told you I'm frugal. We will use it up.
So what would, like she just had the scan done, what's the next step?
Next step, I'm going to have her talk to one of these young ladies, set up an appointment with me next time, or talk to her, or at least one of us can talk to her and go through the scan, And in some instances, and yours, I think, in fact, we may have you come back and do some extra x-rays, or won't be a charge or fee for that. We want to make sure we give you the best advice we can give you, okay?
I can have the x-rays that were just done,
Yeah.
if you want, for me.
We do everything digitally, and digital x-rays are extremely, extremely accurate, you know? And they don't give you any kind of false readings or anything like that, so we're very hands-on here. But we can send them to us, it's fine.
Well, it's just being frugal, I mean,
That's all right.
save money.
That's all right.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Very
Now the cups are complimentary,
Thank you.
so when you guys are having your tea in the morning or coffee, remember us.
Yes, it's great.
Yeah.
And you do, I only assume you do like normal dental work.
Well, I do excellent dental work.
Well.
Yes, we do everything here.
Yeah, that's the
This is a
part.
full-service lab.
Yeah, because you know, I
And
do
for-
I come down for like 4 months, and I'm not flying home to Johnny,
No.
okay?
You see, we have patients who fly down to see us.
Ah,
Yeah, they're here for the 6 months, and they have an issue during the summer, they fly down during the summer, and they see how humid and hot it is here, and they just realize.
they go, yeah, we're going back up.
But no, yeah, we have 4 doctors here. I tend to like doing the surgery. Dr. Steinberg does an outstanding job on cosmetics. He does all the veneers and things like that, full reconstruction. Dr. Raj, he does a lot of our root canals and endodontic treatment. And Dr. Waters is new with us, and she's helping us out with a lot of our fillings and things like that. So yeah, we are a full-service office.
Good, because
We
I
wanna
always
keep you
wanted
here.
to have one now.
Yeah, yeah.
In case something happens.
We want to keep you here. We like to be, like I said, we're in control of everything. If you're having an issue or a problem and you need a root canal, we want to make sure that everything's being done properly for our patients. So it's just, my wife was a medical physician, and she doesn't practice anymore, but she was smart, she married a rich dentist. Bastard, I don't know who he is. But anyway, we'll be at Applebee's having dinner, and someone sent a bureau. I can't believe that someone would send a bureau over to that, especially what I do. I pull wisdom teeth out of people, you know?
Yeah.
Because why would they send a bureau? Because we make sure that what we're doing is the best we can do for you. So. Okay. Well, enjoy your evening, and thank you for coming by and visiting my office.
Thank you.
Doris, did you want to stand?
Yeah.